So hello and welcome to what is a pretty beautiful March day here in Guernsey. Now, what am I up to today? Well, I've just finished work and I've come to this mark. Now, I'm after some garfish. That's going to be what I'm targeting today. I've got 2 float rods with me, 2 light float rods, and just back to basics with simple tactics. It's actually surprising because we're on the lowest tides we get here in Guernsey at the moment, and I'm actually quite surprised. There's a fair bit of swell today. Now, we are approaching high water. I've only just finished work, so I've only just managed to get down here. High water is actually very soon. It's in the next half an hour. But as I'm here over the next couple of hours, the tide really isn't going to move much whatsoever. There's only a 2-meter difference between low and high tide today, so very small tides. I thought I'd take this opportunity to get out into the sunshine and target some garfish because I want to load up my freezer with some bait. I'm going to start by making a chum mix, get a ground bait in the water, which is just going to be a mixture of seawater, bread. I've got some tuna, and I've got some blitzed up sardines in oil. Now, the reason for the tuna and the sardines is I didn't have any fish oil at home, so I grabbed these things, blitzed them up, and I'm going to chuck that in with the bread. I'm going to get it in the water, let it settle. I'll get one float out, and then as I'm sorting myself out, I'll eventually get the other rod out. So, a beautiful day. As always, be careful on the rocks. Flat calm today, but like I said, there is a bit of swell, so just always keep an eye out and see what's going on around you. Take in your surroundings and just be safe out there. Now, less talking, more fishing, and hopefully we can find some bait today. So I'm at a bit of an awkward angle on these rocks. I'm going to do my best to film. Now, let's get some bread in there. I'm going to keep a few slices back. Whoa. Little splash from a wave there. Right, so we'll keep that there for now. And then quite simply, just mash all that up with your hands. That's always good just to use your hands to mash up the bread, and then once you put all your, if you've got fish oil or anything fishy in there, use a spoon or a ladle or whatever. It saves your fingers stinking. But I'm not too fussed about this being all completely mashed up. There can be a few lumps in there. And then we'll go in, and we'll go in with a bit of tuna, just what I had left. And then this stuff absolutely hums. Actually, I'm going to keep a little bit of that as well. Should have thought about that before putting it in, just in case I need to make up any more ground bait after. Just give that a good stir up and we'll get it in the water. So, got that chum in the water now. Now I've started by chumming it quite heavily because I want to basically get as much attractant in the water as soon as possible. Usually it takes half an hour to actually attract some fish in if they're not already here. So to start with, I'm not really expecting much. Now, we are in March, so, you know, if I was fishing this mark in the summer, I could expect to catch wrasse, I could get bream, mullet, as well as garfish, mackerel. But because we're in March, I'm really just targeting garfish. Anything else will be a bonus. There's still a chance of a wrasse if I fish the float deep enough. And there might even be a chance of a bream as well. Now, as I said, I've got 2 rods with me today. One of them's just a spinning rod, an 8-foot spinning rod. I've got float setups on both rods. And the other rod is my 12-foot, very light float fishing rod. Basically, this is what I use for mullet fishing. Now, obviously this is as simple as it gets, so there's no real need to explain, but for those of you who don't know, you've got your main line connected to your rod here. I've got a little float stop there, a bead, a 12-gram float to another bead and a little ball weight. then to a swivel, and I'm using about 3 foot of hook length, and the hook I'm using is a size 8. It's a Camazan something or other, but very small hook. Now I've got some frozen sand eels with me, which I'm just going to snip up into little 1 centimetre cubes, and I'm going to fish those to start with. I've also got a little bit of bread, but we'll just see how we get on. So there we go, a few bits of sand eel cut up, and as you can see, these are very small, and then that is the size of the hook I'm using. So I'm just going to pop the hook through it. Nothing fancy whatsoever. We're getting splashed by these waves. Now I'm going to set the depth to about, got a 3 foot hook length, so I'm going to do another 3 or 4 foot. We'll start at that. Now I'm just going to get the 1 rod in for now, because I just want to see how much that float's going to drift. You can see the swell rolling in here. If you look over there, this is why you've got to be careful. Even though it's small tides, calm weather, the sea is unpredictable. So there we go, that's that float in. Fishing it about 10-15 metres out, 10 metres I'd say. Well, first minute or so, and I just had a little bite. Float went under, but then it very quickly popped back up again. Just leave it for another minute, and then I'll wind it in. That swell and current, something else. Really, really strong. Now, these are definitely garfish, because I've just had about 5 of them follow that bait as I was slowly bringing it in. Now what I'm going to do is actually pop on a little bit of bread and try that instead, because they're smashing the bread on the surface. Well, there could have been a much easier way of me catching these, and that is just by a very small metal lure. However, although I've got a lure rod with me, I don't have any lures. Let's get the float back out. Another ladle of ground bait. Hopefully start catching some. There's definitely fish here, because I've just seen them hitting the bread on the surface. I can see that they're right near the float. Now I might have to fish it a lot shallower. They're literally popping up right next to my float there. Now I reckon they're really small garfish, because the ones I'm seeing hit the surface only look a few inches long. They're pecking at the float, but no real commitment yet. If I try just slowly winding it in, it might attract their attention. So, this is the size I'm talking about. Really, really thin, small garfish. So, unhooked. Now I always use a cloth for these, because they are so slimy. But these are what I'm seeing hitting the surface. Now that one actually gave me kind of like a negative bite. I just saw the float go flat like that, which means the fish has taken it and swam up. So it's taken the weight and made your float sit flat in the water. So whenever you're float fishing, if that happens, no matter what you're targeting, reel into it straight away, because more than likely you've had a fish come up from underneath and take the bait. So there's that rod back in. We'll go for another little piece of sand eel. Using sand eel on one rod and bread on the other. Hey, we're in again. I just turned around to get a drink, happened to look at my rod, and it was bent over. Oh, that's a much nicer size. No monster, but hopefully we get a few more this size coming in now. So I've made a bit of an error here. That garfish took that hook all the way down. I have no pliers on me. I tried to pull it out, and I've snapped it. And by that I mean I've snapped the trace. Now there's no way I'm getting that hook out. I've put the garfish out of his misery to try and get my fingers in there, but it's all the way down its throat. Now the error I've made is I've left my tackle box in the car. The only thing I have in my backpack, this is actually running ledger rigs from the last time I went out fishing. So I've got some, what size are these? Can't see with that sticker on. And these are a size 1 hook. So pretty big, to be honest, for what I'm doing. And as it goes to show, within the first half an hour or so, it's been difficult to actually hook the fish properly. But I've got no choice, I'm going to have to put one of these on, just so I can still fish 2 rods and hopefully catch more fish. There are so many of them there, but they're literally about that long. I'd say about 6 to 8 inches. Now, great bait size, but just proving a bit finicky to hook. So, new hook tied on, we're going on with a big old fat piece of bread. So we've got the 2 rods out. This one on the right here is the one with the bigger hook on. There's garfish jumping right near the floats again. Just put some more chum in the water. See there? I don't know if you can see that on camera, but he's jumping out of the water. Just had a bite on this rod. Oh, there we go. There we are. Got the small one again. Just as I was saying, they were jumping out of the water. Jumped onto my bait. Keep an eye on that other rod. You can see they go bloody crazy. And another one. Come on, bud. There we go. Into the bucket you go. So a bit of that in there. No more than a few meters out. And then just a gentle lob. Hopefully we can hook another. Now even stood up here without my sunglasses on, I can see the bread falling. The water's actually pretty clear, and you can see the garfish come up. They're all really small, and there's been loads of these around for ages now. So we'll see how we get on. Hopefully we can hook a few more. It's going to get dark in roughly about an hour's time. So yeah, we got about an hour or so, hour and 20 minutes. So hopefully we see a few more fish. Now then, big hook, big bait. And because I'm not expecting to really hook much on this size hook, I'm going to chance it and just put a sand eel out there. That swell keeps rolling in. Well, so far we've had 5 garfish. Not going to set the world on fire, but or set the world alight, should I say, not on fire. Yeah, it's a bit of bait to go into the freezer. Now, I'm going to get this float back out. I'm going to chum the water straight away. As soon as I'm chumming, they're all coming up to the surface and hitting it, so that's when I'm hoping to get hit. That last one, I just slowly started to reel the bait in once I saw the garfish hitting the surface, hitting the bread on the surface, and that's how I hooked it. So would you believe it, a double figure bass has not come along and eaten my sand eel. Now the light's fading a little bit, but it's been an absolutely beautiful day today. It really has been. Such a change from just 2 days ago when it was non-stop rain. That's the thing with winter, you just got to find the windows and get out when you've got the opportunity. Recently I've had very little time, so it's been so enjoyable just to get out today. Fresh air, fresh sea air, bit of fishing, really can't complain. Now I'm just going to leave that sand eel in there on the off chance. I've set the depth at about 15 feet, so what I'm hoping for is a wrasse really, but no bites whatsoever. I'm going to get some more ground bait in the water, flick out the other float, and hopefully we see another fish. Well, that's going to do it for my session this afternoon. Now, what can I say? This isn't exactly the type of video I'd like to be putting out there. However, I'll probably upload this video because I haven't uploaded anything in so long now. As I've said before in many videos, it's just time nowadays to be able to go out and actually fish properly. I did have a couple of bass sessions last week, but I blanked on both occasions. But I am literally just getting out when I can, and wherever there's a break in the weather, because recently it's been relentless. The last 2 days have been lovely, so if it continues like this, I should be out over the coming week and doing plenty more fishing. But what can I say, today has been a lot of fun, and it's just nice to get out in the fresh air, do a bit of fishing, catch a few fish, put some bait in the freezer. Now, it definitely wasn't a blinder. You know, let's not beat around the bush. 4 or 5 garfish is nothing to brag about. But yeah, as I said, I thought I'd just put this video out there. Once I edit it, if it's good, it will go on the channel, so it's something to view on these rainy days and before I can get out and make some proper videos. So thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please join me on the next adventure, which will be sometime soon. So until then, see you on the next one.